Welcome to OutFlow. I'm Alan King, and I'm so glad that you've made OutFlow a part of your day. I am once again joined here in the studio by my special guest, my oldest daughter, my firstborn.
It's your oldest son-in-law, too.
That's true.
That is true.
Hey.
Yeah. My daughter, Heather, and her husband, Michael Ward. And Michael was my first son-in-law. How long y'all been married now?
20 years. 20 years this
20
year.
20 years? No, you know what? You were my second son-in-law because I forgot. Lauren is younger than you, but Lauren got married before you did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Robbie, if you're watching this. I'm sorry.
But you like me first. At least that's the story I heard anyway.
Well, that's another story. We may need a whole broadcast on how to overcome.
Okay, let's talk happy thoughts. All right? Okay, so I was the second one married, and because I basically told him at my sister's wedding, I was like, okay, it's time. Let's.
Oh, and y'all got married 6 months apart.
Yeah, because
I mean, not you and Michael got married 6 months apart.
Wow.
I mean, my second oldest daughter and my oldest daughter got married 6 months apart. So I didn't have any money for a long time. But I forgot about that she got married first. But anyway.
Yeah, it is 20 years in June because, it's wild.
20 years. And you gave me my first grandson.
That's what it was. You were thinking about the firstborn grandson.
Because Lauren and Robbie didn't have a baby until forever. Yeah. And they were living in Europe and had my little granddaughter while they were missionaries in Europe.
Yeah.
But I have two grandsons that you have given me.
Yeah.
And I love my boys. They're good kids.
They are good.
Michael and Heather are they serve at the local church at River of Life Church as associate pastor and as minister of assimilation. They do youth ministry, or what I like to refer to as the important discipleship ministry. But the majority of their ministry is done at a place called Jethro's, which is a discipleship center, a community outreach discipleship. Well, go look at the last episode.
Where can we jump in? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's just.
Last episode we talked a lot about Jethro's, and my plan was to talk a little bit about Jethro's and then talk about ministry, but we never really got to that point because there was so much to talk about with Jethro's. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about. We'll talk about why I didn't hit that button to fix that, but there we go. Y'all ignore me because I'm taking care of business.
I was like, man, we have talked a long time already.
Yeah, I was supposed to do that when it started, but anyway, those of you that are listening, you have no idea what was just happening. There was a crocodile that walked into here, and I had to scare him away. That's what it was. No, but we were going to talk about ministry. And the phrase that gets thrown around a lot, out of the box ministry, I don't really even know what that means. Because I think any ministry should be out of the box ministry. Mm-hmm. You grew up in a parsonage, you grew up in church, so you kind of know what quote unquote ministry to most people looks like. But you guys you're out there because you decided not to fish out of the aquarium. I see so much ministry in the church that involves, hey, our church has better music, better preaching, more stuff. You know, we've got like Disneyland at our church. So come let your kids ride on our roller coasters and all this stuff. And so leave your church where you're already saved and you're already involved and come over to my church. Mm-hmm. And we feel like that's ministry. Yeah. That's not ministry.
Filling a church has never been ministry, and my whole life is I saw how ministry was done, and it kind of made me sick to my stomach. I was like, I don't want to be like that. And then Michael came on the scene and kind of was an outsider, because at one point Michael was I know you had your own questioning about God at one point in your life. You're like, okay, I know there's something out there, but I've seen a lot, so I don't know how real this stuff is. So it's really weird to have somebody like that marry me, who's always been in church and ministry. And I was like, yes, there is a God, let me tell you.
But even when you were growing up, though, Heather, you were never really churchy.
I was a weirdo.
I mean, we were doing things in church that nobody, and I don't mean this, I'm not bragging on this, but I'm just saying we were doing things that other people weren't doing because our focus was not in the church.
No.
It was, we were standing on the back of tractor trailers in the middle of the shopping center parking lot.
In our swishy
suits. You guys were doing, I was thinking about that song the other day. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance.
Mary, Kirk Franklin,
Stomp. Man. We were doing those kind of things.
And that was in Spruce Pine.
Yeah.
That was unheard of in that area. Right
in the middle of church heaven, where all the churches, they were meeting on Sunday. But we had some people in our life that were really cool people, and they knew how to get out of the box. People like Shane Oakes.
Yeah.
Or Isaac.
Isaac now, yeah.
And his family and other people that they weren't afraid to get outside the walls of the church.
And maybe that's what they're trying, when people say out of the box. They're trying to say get outside the walls of the church, but it got so watered down along the way. A lot of the reason that the ministry was the way it was, though, in the mountains is because we had a group of people who had experienced God's grace.
Yeah.
And they knew how to meet people on that level.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what our ministry is now, is Michael and I, and I'm not building us up, we know what it's like to come face to face with the almighty, living but loving God and say, okay, I've felt your grace. I know what it is. And now I want others to experience that. We know what it's like to live through addiction. We know what it's like to, there's been, Michael has had some, traumatic things in his life that have happened, and grief and other things that God has been like, okay, these things you guys have experienced, because if you hadn't have experienced it, then you couldn't reach these people on the level they need to be reached.
Yeah. And Michael, I know a big thing for you. We've talked about this before, and you touched on it just a little bit last episode. I don't think we ever used the phrase, but there's a phrase that I know is very dear to you when it comes to ministry, and that's relational evangelism.
Yeah.
They got to know you care about them before they're going to listen to what you got to say.
People have to know how much you care before they care about how much you know.
Yeah.
And that carries much more weight, even in the spiritual sense, than just like the physical sense. I'm just always reminded of this picture that I get of Jesus, and I believe it might be in the Gospel of Matthew. I could be wrong on that, but there's this picture of Jesus who's eating with sinners. Mm-hmm. who's hanging out with sinners, and there's this visual of like the religious group, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, who are looking in on Jesus, hanging out with these people, and they were some of his greatest critics, and their accusation against him was that he's a friend of sinners. Yeah. When it comes to relational evangelism, the relational aspect of that has to be that you have to be their friend. They have to know that you care about them.
Yeah.
Not that you
Really
condone
care.
that you condone every single aspect of their life, but they need to know that you love them.
Yeah.
And as a mature saint, like, there should be this element to your life to where you can care about somebody, you can love somebody to the fullest, and still be able to tell them truth.
Yeah.
Be able to speak into their life.
Yeah.
So there are modes of ministry, and there are areas of ways that I feel like Jethro's will probably reach out to people that, to possibly the more religious aspect, they may have a problem with.
Yeah.
I don't mind if my reputation gets a little bit tarnished if somebody makes it into heaven.
Yeah.
If somebody really sees the Jesus that in me, the light of the world that I'm supposed to carry, and sometimes I fail at that, but I don't mind if my reputation gets tarnished a little bit if somebody sees that there's a God who loves them, there's a Jesus that can set them free, and there's somebody here tangible in this world that will help them make it and walk them in to a relationship with Jesus,
Yeah.
to an eternity in heaven.
I love the way that Jesus responded to when they said things. He hangs out with sinners, and he hangs out with all these low life people, and he's like, his response wasn't, "No, I don't." It was, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
Right. I've made the statement, and a lot of my religious people don't like it when I say things like this, but I really feel like, you want to know where Jesus would be on a Friday night? And I say this because I do this sometime. When I go to a restaurant by myself and my wife's not with me and nobody else is with me, I go sit at the bar.
Yeah.
Not because I'm a drunk, not because I'm going to do what they're doing.
Right.
That's where they are. I love to fish. I'm a fisherman. And one thing I've learned about fishing, you got to go, if you're going to catch anything, you got to go where the fish are.
Yeah.
And we emphasize all the time at River of Life, where I'm lead pastor. Y'all hear me say it all the time. I talk about aisle 11 ministry. Ministry don't happen in the church. Those that are whole don't need a physician. We have sanitized this thing.
Yeah.
And to where we feel safe. I ain't afraid of sinners.
No.
I'm not afraid I'm going to catch sinner cooties. And so I encourage my people all the time, get outside the walls, go to Walmart and listen, and the Holy Spirit might just speak to you while you're on aisle 11 and say, pray for that person.
Yeah.
That's where it's supposed to happen. And I say this all the time. Don't invite people to church. Invite them into your life.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're going to know, like you said, they got to know we love them.
And to be honest with you, like that, to be able to have that relational aspect with somebody, this may sound bad but take it for what it's worth. But they can spot a fake from a mile away.
Yeah.
And just being involved in somebody's life just to try to meet some sort of quota,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Right.
But getting involved in someone's life because you genuinely care about them, you genuinely love them, in just a moment, a word in due season, can start a fire.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's where we drop the ball, because a lot of times we as a pastor, you're always pointing out the fact that a lot of times a religious mindset will be more focused on what you call nickels and noses, just the numbers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we can, in our relational evangelism, we can fall into that trap as well. It's like I've got to get this number. I've got to get this person. And And to be honest with you, it really comes down to that relationship.
Yeah.
Like that's the foundation of everything you're trying to do in their life. The direction, the life bringing word that you're trying to get to bring into their life. It all has to come down to relationship and genuineness.
Yeah.
They have to know that you actually care about them.
That you really do. I'm gonna make a weird statement. Some of my best friends that I've ever had in life, a lot of my closest friends have been sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did I win them all? Not yet.
Yeah.
Still working on some of them. But there's a genuineness to somebody that doesn't go to church, doesn't claim to know Christ.
Yeah.
When you just want to be friends with them, they will just open up to you.
Right.
And it gives you opportunity. Now, every time I get a chance, I'm telling them,
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus can fix that.
Yeah.
But I'm not, if you don't get saved right now, Jesus is going to come knock you in the head and he's going to squash your eyeballs out with a lightning bolt. You just have to love them. You got to be there when they're hurting. And I have seen that. And I think that, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to out you or anything. I'm just saying, I know some of where you came from. You didn't grow up in a parsonage.
No.
Your dad wasn't a pastor.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up in a religious. Your mom, great Christian lady.
Yeah.
We're going to see her in heaven.
Yeah.
Your grandmother, godly woman.
Right.
We're going to see her in heaven. So you had those influences in your life, but you didn't like Heather. Heather grew up in the parsonage. Heather's rebellion came because she saw a lot of fake religious people who said they loved you, but they didn't like nobody. But I think that because of your background, it's allowed you to have a patient grace toward people that a lot of church people who grew up in, so sheltered by this sanitized religious world that they don't have. They say they have it, but you can be around them. It don't take long to be around them, and you can tell. You can tell who really cares about people. But I think that's established in you something that said, what Grace did for me, he can do for others.
Yeah.
And I hope you see that too.
And to be honest with you, like that, there's less of a historical part of my life that allows me to see that, and more of being more open to what the Holy Spirit wants to do. To be honest with you,
that's even better.
You can grow up in a parsonage. You can grow up in a whole religious system, and still allow the Holy Spirit to make you vulnerable, to allow you to have the genuineness to be able to minister to people. But it does help sometimes when you've seen the other side at times.
I think the one thing that stood out most to me in the last couple of years of our ministry kind of evolving was I was out one day, I'm mowing the yard, and I don't think you were taking care of your grandma at that point. And this gentleman walks up to me and kind of freaked me out. He's a super tall guy. He walks up to me and he said, "Hey, are you Michael's wife?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I need you to tell him something for me." And immediately I'm like, "Oh, okay, buddy, what?" And he said, "Tell him that I got rid of the rope, and tell him thank you, because you saved my life." There, he was telling me to tell him. And he said, he saw me. And it's been years since somebody saw me. Yeah. And I remember at that moment as a wife and as a believer, my heart just it grew 10 sizes that day because I was just like, man, wow. And from that day, it's like God opened my eyes to the fact that that's what they're needing. They need somebody to see them because they may be at the point, whether it's somebody who's dealing with, being homeless or, addiction, or just a regular person who's just got struggles that they just can't handle financially or something. People are just looking for someone to look them in the eyes and have a conversation with them. The world is so unpersonable right now. Like there's no connection. And the Holy Spirit is using us as followers of Christ to look at people and let his light shine through us in those conversations. Yeah. And from that from that happening with this young gentleman, next thing we know, you were talking in the previous episode talking about people showing up at our doorstep to eat. And this, again, it's not to brag on us, but this is the kind of wild stuff God will require of you when you start saying open up doors. Is I made dinner one night, had the kids show up at my door, and again, big tall dude knocks on the door. Hey man, can I just get some water? I'm thirsty. That's all he needed. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for anything. He just needed water. Just gave him some water. And then he sits there and he goes, man, that food smells really good. And right then, for the next few weeks, we started planning, we had
months, really.
Months, yeah. Extra kids. Like I said, when we buy our groceries, we've got a plan for at least 10 other people at any given time to show up at our door, because they would. And it was probably my favorite part of ministry, that we've ever gotten to do, because they were telling their friends, hey, come eat with us. I told them, I said, you tell them, come eat with us. And we had patio furniture out in the yard. They'd come sit in camping chairs in our yard and just plop down. And we had religious people who told us, oh, you're going to get burnt. Yeah. Get ready. You're going to get burnt. You're giving too much. And those are homeless people. They're in addiction and they're going to use you. And yeah, some of the stories may not have been perfect. Yeah, I can't say that we haven't felt a little burn.
Yeah.
But the fact that those people, for that moment, we were able to pour into them, to plant the seeds, to pray for them, and to just be Christ to other human beings and show love to other human beings. That's what we're here for.
It's one of those. It was a lot of those moments of what you talk about as far as being the only Jesus that some people ever see.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's on your doorstep. It doesn't always happen on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really miss that.
And yeah.
Sorry.
and somewhere we got the idea that church is where I come to get ministered to.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's not. Church is where you come for the pastor to perfect you and to train you and teach you.
Equipping of the saints.
To go do ministry.
Yeah.
That's what Paul said. He said, I gave pastors for the equipping, for the perfecting of the saints and the equipping of the body, so we can get it. But Heather, stuff like people showing up at your house, homeless people showing up at your house, you didn't put a sign up. No. They just started showing up.
And that was part of the, to be honest with you, part of the equipping was putting us into that situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Lord just kind of opened up that door, and sometimes you just got to sink or swim.
Don't you think he does? Sometimes he does stuff like that, don't you think, to see what you're going to do with it?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I heard you talking about that, and I got thinking to myself, that would scare the mess out of a lot of religious people.
It did, and it did our neighbors too, because we
were constantly. I mean, there was one time that we knew that somebody needed to be. We knew somebody had to be at the Christian Ministry Center down the road the next day, and the only way that I could guarantee that child, I say child because they're half my age, that dude and his wife were going to make it to that place to get the help they need. I knew if they left, they wouldn't come back. I set a tent up on our front, or we did, not just me. Yeah. We set a tent up on our front porch. Man, the neighbors were talking. But it was the only way that I could shake the tent the next day and say, let's get up.
Yeah.
We're going down here to get y'all the help you need.
And you put them in your car
Yeah.
and take them where they need to go to get the help that they needed.
And it really upsets me when people say, well, they could do this. Well, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So, I look at it that way. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. If something happens to me, I believe God protects you, though. Like, if you're doing what he's called you to, I believe he'll provide the protection. We're wise. We're smart. But I've had people go, you put them in your car?
Listen, I had people that heard about y'all doing stuff like that. I said, let me tell you what some of the stuff they're doing. They're having these people come to their house, and I'd call the law. And I'm like, you're a pastor.
Yeah.
You can't say stuff like that. But I really feel like that's what Jesus would do.
Yeah.
That Jesus, he had a lot to say about religious people, but he had some really cool stuff to say about those who were, and we've said this. I mean, you've been in my house for all these years. You've heard me from the pulpit. How many times have we talked about who we're trying to reach out to? The lost, the lonely, and the left out. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that Jesus cares about.
Yeah.
Again, Jesus said, those who are whole don't need a physician. Yeah. I didn't come for the saved. I came for the lost sheep.
Yeah.
And if you really want to talk about out of the box ministry, that's where it's happening.
Yeah.
Outside the walls of the church.
I told him one time a few months ago, I said, I've prayed for more people in the last few years of my life across a bar. And you were talking about going and sitting at a bar, because I think it's fun. I like upsetting religious people. I think I shouldn't provoke people, but I think it's fun. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, let's stir this up in you. And I've prayed for more people reaching across the bar and say, hey, I hear you. Let me pray for you.
I just did that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Your mom was out of town. I went to eat, and I said, I'm going to sit at the bar. And by the time it was over with, I had two waitresses that were sitting there talking to me, and I was praying with them. They were crying.
Yeah.
Just within an hour of sitting there, because I went in and made up my mind, I'm going to tell somebody about Jesus today.
People go to a bar to talk and to find somebody to be there for them. If anybody knows anything, it's that you go to a bar. If you're going there for the reasons that most people do, you're going there because you need somebody to spill your guts to or to talk to. If you're sitting at a table, whatever. But it just throws you into that thing of, hey, let's talk. Okay, I know an answer for you. Let's pray about it. And and
I will say this, just to keep me out of trouble, the young ladies that I talked to, I introduced them to your mother.
Yeah.
And now she's texting them and talking. And,
and it's that discipleship happening outside of the church.
Exactly.
It's carrying on.
And to be honest with you, like, if you ask him for those opportunities, you better be ready for them.
Come
they're
on.
not going to show up like you think they're going to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I don't know how many times like that I've asked the Lord, give me an opportunity to show somebody who you are, to show them the validity of what the gospel can do in their life, and honestly, I don't know that it's ever been past a day or two that a situation has not arisen just out of the blue. And it wasn't anything that I'd organized. It wasn't anything that I sought out to look for. They came to me.
Yeah. Because it is a spirit that draws people to him. And that is something I don't think we realize as Christians enough. We can talk till we are blue in the face to people about God. And sure, you're planting seeds and doing that. But your yelling and screaming at somebody is never in a million years going to bring them. If the Spirit is not drawing them, it's not going to happen. And I am a firm believer in that. So we have to pray and say, God, and you talk about it all the time, and during the sermons and stuff about God, send us those softball pitches. It's not coming at us like it's just. And sometimes I feel like it's coming at me at fast pitch, but it's just God give us those softball pitches, in our lives where it's just like right in the glove. There
And
we
he
go.
does it all the time.
He does
Yeah.
if we ask.
Because it shows the validity, the truthfulness of his heart.
Yeah.
John 3:16, for God so loved who? The world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we make this way too difficult.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because there's a simplicity to the heart of the gospel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And there's another aspect to it too. We ask God for opportunities.
Mhm.
And when he sends them, we got to be obedient.
Yeah.
We got to do something with it. It's
Yeah.
not enough just to say, hey, send me opportunities. He's lobbing that softball, and
Yeah.
we're like,
You got to swing.
Oh,
you got to swing. Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. Get ready.
I got a friend of mine, Eric Swilling, who he made opportunities. If there wasn't an opportunity, he'd make one.
Yeah.
I've seen him pray for cashiers at the convenience store in tears, and they get saved right there. Or go to a restaurant. He's got the waitress on her knees at the table. He just made those opportunities, and he never let one slip by.
Yeah.
I've learned things from him and others. Like when I go to a restaurant, I don't do it every time. I need to get better at it. But we're going to pray over the food. We're going to say the blessing. Why not look at that waitress and say, we're getting ready to pray. Is there anything we can pray for you about? I've done that, I don't know how many times, and maybe 2 times I've had a waitress look at me and say, no. They open up and they'll say,
Yeah.
pray for my mom, pray for my kids,
Yeah.
pray for,
And it's so cool when things happen, like when they get those prayers answered, and then the next time you come in, they're like, let me tell you, you prayed for me last time,
Yeah.
and then my mom was healed. You prayed for me last time, and I got that job I was praying for. And God does that so we can be a witness to those people. We had people, and you were talking about, praying and people showing up at our door and everything. We're talking like this one gentleman knocking on the door. And sometimes it was hilarious because it would scare the kid. It would scare the boys at times because he was a rather aggressive knocker. But we knew it was him because of how he would knock. And it was just random times. But we were able to pray for that man. And I know, and it was right before he began to slip into dementia. And I know that God put us in that man's life so he can make things right with God.
And to be honest with you, he was probably an outcast in our community.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Was
sure.
people,
And
it was
we were.
horrible.
God allowed us to be the 2 people outside of his own family that he would trust,
Yeah.
that could speak into his life, that even cared about him.
Yeah.
Even to the point to where his son, who's not a believer, when some health issues arose in his dad's life, the son reached out to us to kind of give us an update and let us know how his dad was doing. So we were able to even build, a sort of a relationship with his son, because of how he saw that we treated his dad, how we gave his dad respect when a lot of other people didn't, or dignity.
And you brought up a great point, just in something you just said, that you have 2 teenage sons that live at home, my grandsons, and they're seeing this, and I just feel like they're going to carry that on because they both. I see them now. We'll every now and then we'll be here doing something. Even as a family, we'll be together doing something, and we might have somebody show up, maybe a homeless person that's looking for y'all or something, and I see how your sons interact with them.
Yeah.
They don't shame them. They don't back off from them. They talk to. They treat them like people, and they're learning that because of the example that they're seeing in y'all, and that blesses me to see them do that. because I think that they're gonna be able to win people to Christ because of what they've seen through y'all. So,
and I think there's going to be more and more opportunities. I'm believing for people to do that, and I want to encourage anybody. I'm sorry, I've been struggling tonight. I just want to encourage people who are out there watching or listening, begin to pray for those chances. And it doesn't even just have to be like, for me and Michael, it may be, homeless or some people dealing with addiction. But it doesn't even have to be that. It can be businessmen. It can be businesswomen, teachers, anybody. They can be going through something. And you could have the key to what I know you do. If you're a follower of Christ, you do have the key to what they need in your life. It's just a matter of you opening up and sharing it. And I'm praying more and more that people will be obedient to the Holy Spirit. And just because it doesn't look like what you're used to, and their beliefs sometimes might not be the same as yours, but I'm becoming more and more aware of the fact that we are all working out our salvation with fear and trembling. And just because someone's not as far down the road as you, with their sanctification, as we like to call it, or with their, we've got to speak truth in love, but be patient with them because Christ is patient with all of us, and love them as Christ. We've got to love people like Christ. Yeah. And we walk with people. We're walking this life together, so we just got to show love. And they're coming around. God is going to start sending you. The harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few, and God's just waiting on us to say, hey, I'm here, put me in the game, I'm ready.
And I'll do a shameless plug for our church, to be honest with you, because
I like that.
There are people that we've made contact with through our ministry that have come in and built relationships with people in our church. Yeah. And they've welcomed them with open arms. They've loved on them. They've prayed for them. They made them feel like a legitimate person, that they're valued and they're cared for.
They saw them.
And they saw them. Yeah. And that really means a lot, because I know there'll be people that through our ministries that may not ever show up here, but the ones that do, I know they're coming to a good place.
Yeah.
So.
I want to take, and we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I want to take it a little step further, though, because we've talked about that this is a good thing, and it's good ministry, and we're thankful the Lord has opened these doors, and He's shown us that grace to be able to reach out. I want to go a little bit deeper, though, because this is not what we're talking about here. Now, maybe the style's different, maybe the method might be a little different, but this is not something that just a few people do. This is not optional. I really believe that when we get to heaven, I say this all the time, I really believe that when we get to heaven, now I don't have Bible to back it up, but you don't have Bible to disprove it. I just know the heart of my Father. I know the heart of God enough to know this is what matters to Him. And I feel like when we get to heaven, when we stand before the judgment bar of God, He's going to ask us two questions. First of all, He's going to say, where are your children? And secondly, He's going to say, who are you bringing with you?
Yeah.
This is not optional.
No.
Every child of God is called to be a witness for Christ.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you, if all you're doing is sitting on a church pew, and all you're doing is going in on Sunday morning to get your spiritual fix, you are failing in the Great Commission. Yeah. Because Jesus didn't say, now I want a few of y'all to go and make disciples. He said, he that winneth souls is wise. Go. And I just feel like it's a requirement. Yeah. Now, we might not ever win a soul. Isaiah went 40 years without the first person listening to what he said. He said, Lord, how long? And there are times when you feel like that. Lord, I'm trying and I'm not winning anybody. You don't know what just seeing somebody and speaking into their life, you don't know what that's going to do. But we ought to at least be doing something.
Yeah. and it's honestly not just a task to be performed.
Yeah.
But you're missing out on one of the greatest adventures you'll ever endeavor to do.
Yeah.
And, we always go back to what eye has not seen, what ear has not heard. It hasn't even entered into the mind what God has in store for those who love Him. Me personally, I take that as an evangelism verse as well.
Yeah.
Because I know there's higher mountains to climb, and I know there will, at some point there will be valleys that we'll have to cross, but this idea of Great Commission is so much more about numbers and so much more than just going through the motions. But it really is an adventure. It really is. It's life-giving, not just for the person that you're ministering to, but it's life-giving to you because you see the grace and the mercy and the power of the Holy Spirit working in somebody's life.
Yeah.
How do you put any kind of monetary value on that?
Yeah.
How do you top that? You're affecting someone's eternity.
Yeah. And I feel like when we get to heaven, there are going to be cases where people are going to come up to us and say, I'm here because of you.
Yeah.
And not only am I here, but I want to show you everybody that I won because you won me to Christ.
Yeah.
Here's a multitude of people that I won to Christ.
Yeah.
I just really feel like that's going to happen. And one of my favorite sayings is you can count the seeds in an apple, but you can't count the apples in the seed.
Yeah.
You might only win one soul, but they might win thousands.
Yeah. Was it? I could be wrong, but was it Mordecai Ham who evangelized Billy Graham?
Yeah.
And then all the multitudes of people through his ministries.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to see that, and I think that the more and more the more things are changing and transitioning in the church, I think that we're going to have more opportunity, and I think that it's going to become even more necessary.
Yeah.
To win the loss that we're going to have to get outside the four walls, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. Did y'all have any other great words of wisdom or anything before we? I didn't want to close and then you say, I was going to say this, but you quit too quick. So I do that to your mom all the time. Like we'll get done and it's like, I should have said this.
Just don't be afraid to hang out with the hippies and the cowboys. That's it.
Yeah,
Don't be. Be a little weird sometimes.
I challenge a pastor that might be listening to this. I want to really put you on the spot, but you got to make sure you can possess your vessel. Don't do dumb. Yeah. I challenge you, man. Go out to eat. Take your wife with you. I just do it because I don't know if my wife would be comfortable doing it. I never have asked her. She probably would. But I just think it's funny. I go to restaurants and go sit at the bar, and I'm just waiting on somebody. Now, my church wouldn't care. My church would be like, oh, that's pastor. That's just what he does. But I'm waiting on one of my preacher buddies to walk in and say, he's sitting at a bar. And I don't mean it bad. I want to look at him sometime and say, well, let's compare fruit. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have said that. Lord, I apologize. Thank y'all so much for spending some time with me. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing, and my whole life I've been involved in ministry. My daddy was a preacher. Then I became a preacher. I married a preacher's daughter. Our whole life has been about ministry, and I'm happy to see that my children are continuing that, and I'm really proud of what you guys are doing. And you are the you said something one time about what y'all were doing. What did you say? The unchurch or the it wasn't the anti-church, because we're not anti-church. There's a need for the church.
We did say the unchurched.
Maybe that's what it was.
And then Michael had another name that we've just, because we're the unchurched.
There's a need for the church, and I thank God for the church. It's a place of equipping, but it's not a place where you come to get ministered to. It's a place you come to get equipped to go and minister.
Yeah, and if we are the church, we should be out doing things, and I guess we shouldn't say the unchurched, because I am the church, but the unbuilding, I don't.
Yeah,
it's just redoing how it goes back to. I'm sorry, I'll just say this. It even goes as far as our dress at church sometimes. Yeah. I don't even judge people for what they wear at church anymore, because for years I know that I wore a business suit or what. Like I looked like Hillary Clinton's twin in my little pantsuit at one point. I don't even want to say it like that. Maybe Sarah Palin or something. I don't know if she's any good or not. But like I was always dressed up. But God has just been dealing with me like, if you're reaching this group of people, you've got to meet them where they are, and don't make yourself seem like you're above them. And I respect the house of God with all my heart, but there are some things, don't be so quick to judge other people and their ministry styles, because you don't know what God has dealt with their heart about. Yeah. And so in general, whether it's you sitting at the bar, whether it's what I wear, as long as it's modest, God sees our hearts, and He may be dealing with us. So be careful. Just tread careful on how you judge other people's ministries, because they may be dealing, God may be dealing with their heart on who they're ministering to. Mm-hmm. But everybody, pray, God, send people, into our paths. Let us hear that knock at the door, that real aggressive knock. Man, I miss that knock at our door sometimes.
And when you hear it, open the door.
Open it up.
Pray for opportunities, and when they come. I heard one of my spiritual heroes, Tommy Barnett. I love Tommy Barnett.
Pretty cool family.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of his son and the work that he's doing at the Dream Center. But Tommy Barnett. Somebody asked him if you could build any kind of church, what kind of church would you build? And he said, I would build a church without walls. And I've kind of adapted that for the last 40 years of ministry. But I think that's the way it's got to be. Yeah. It needs to be, because we've got to win the lost. Because again, when we get there, he's going to say, who you bringing with you? Yeah. And I want to take somebody with me.
Amen.
Thank y'all. Heather Ward, her husband Michael Ward, doing a great job. And just in case anybody didn't get it last time, to get in touch with you in the ministry of Jethro's.
I'll let you say it this time. What is it, babe?
Our website is jethros.org.
No, jethros.info.
.info. I'm sorry. I tried to make it simple, and even I confuse it.
Well, there we go.
So it's
jethros.info.
Jethros.info.
And there's contact information, donation information, because you are a 501c3. You are a nonprofit organization, a nonprofit ministry, doing a great work. If you want to send them a check for $10,000 or $10, whatever, I'd encourage you to do that. It's good soil to sow seed in. But jethros.info. If you would like to write OutFlow, we would love to hear from you. If you have suggestions, if you have compliments or comments, or what's the opposite of compliment? Criticism. I hope you don't, but if you do, it's always good to constructive
criticism.
Constructive criticism. But we would love to hear from you. It's always good when you write us, and just and it's encouraging. But that's OutFlow at outflow.online. Again, the email address is outflow at outflow.online. Thank you so much for making OutFlow a part of your day. I'm Alan King, coming to you from the studios of River of Life Church in Valdez, North Carolina, with my special guest, Michael and Heather Ward. Until next time, get out there and be blessed. And while you're at it, be a blessing.